Ladies and gentlemen, I was almost muted. How's it going, everybody? What are those letters behind your first name? I lost the game of Scrabble. Welcome to episode 3 of Battle of the Bands. Our first judge is a drummer. Mike Melian from Monuments is here. How's it going, Mike?
I'm looking!
Our next guest, you guys, has had a rough weekend, but has been resurrected.
Brother, I was about to pass out of existence. It was the age of hell this weekend, man. I'll tell you what, I felt so sick. It was like the impossibility of reasoning. I have an infection, brothers and sisters, but luckily I am here. I have erection. Feel kind of shitty, but I'm glad to be here. This is giving me some good adrenaline, you know, when you're feeling under the weather. Sometimes just jumping around and hanging out with some mates gets you feeling a little bit better.
I'm glad you're here, and hopefully this next guest doesn't put a damper on that mood. My friend Julian.
I'm being held captive.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt everybody, but are you in a red light district?
Based on the stuff that we've heard already, what's your perception of the Middle Eastern scene so far?
I think it's great. There's some real creativity that's coming out of there. I kind of feel like wherever you have restriction on art, you get great art. It's really nice to hear a wide range of inspired people doing their thing.
I think it's incredible. The bands are doing different things.
The company's there for a reason now. Obviously, I've heard some of the bands beforehand. They made me want to take a jump into a territory which is quite hard. So there's quite a lot of good bands there. I like the fact that I don't know what to expect when I hear a band. When I get an email saying we're a metal band from Gothenburg, I go, oh, it's Mellow Death. When I hear we're a metal band from Stockholm, I go, oh, okay, so it's death metal. We're emailing you from a forest in Norway. All right, black metal, calm down. It's kind of unexpected because it's all these styles and genres mixed together. And it's also just a lot of influences, old and new, that are now coming out that we didn't have a chance to see beforehand.
You're absolutely right about the melting pot, especially in the UAE. No one's from here. Everyone's from other places. The band is made up of so many different cultures and so many different backgrounds. It's like an insane melting pot. Lord Zeppelin, thank you for the clap, my friend. Check out Esodic. There they are. We're going to be listening to their track Undoing. You guys ready for this?
I don't want to fuck with that singer.
Yeah, that's the drummer.
Oh, that's the drummer? They're like, you know what? I'm the fucking drummer. You're going to put me up front, motherfuckers. I'm going to fucking stab you all.
I loved it. I really, really enjoyed that. It just ticked so many boxes. It was a structure that led you along a fucking awesome path.
I thought it was a good way to kick off the show. And for a 3-piece, that's a big sound. I hope it translates live that way. I don't know if they're going to be adding another guitar player or how they're going to work that all out.
And it's a good marketable song. I could work with it. It has a clear structure. It's well made. It's well written. For a 3-piece, it's a huge sound. I'm curious to see how that works out live. Touch too long? Not a lot, though. But I do feel like this is kind of a returning theme.
Yeah, maybe bands are subconsciously making their songs longer as a result of all our fat trimming from folks like us. Who knows? So maybe we're just old and like, man, they're...
A very interesting comment on Discord where someone was saying maybe the songs might be on the longer side for Middle Eastern bands because they just want to add everything to that one song, which I thought was very interesting. It might be something to look into. This is an interesting band. Their name is Aramaic. Well, they're from Dubai, and the song that we'll be playing is called The Guardian. Are you guys ready for Aramaic? Thank you for the clap.
Let's do it. Clap on, clap off, the clapper.
Never had anyone thank someone for getting the claps so many times.
Holy shit, man. Middle East is the birthplace of civilization, and I felt like I got a fucking history lesson in that just now. I loved it. Every minute of it. I wish it was 10 minutes longer. I'm not even being an asshole. That was a great ride. We could cut the bass solo, though. Come on, let's be real. Nobody wants to hear bass in metal. We're all Injustice for All fans. We just know bass does. I'm just kidding. It was epic, and I felt like I went on a great journey and had a wonderful time.
I liked it. It had a couple of odd moves for me, like launching with the solo kind of set me off on a kind of a question mark. But it made sense as it goes through because it's its own kind of structure, isn't it? In that case, it worked really well because there's a lot of build up, a lot of breakdown, because it wasn't long form masquerading as short form.
It's just very good. It's very well done. It's stuff like this you won't hear over in Europe. There's nothing like that here. The song itself is very well done.
Hey, congratulations. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking of the pit, I want to ask you guys here, judges. Are you guys in mosh retirement? Would you guys still jump in a pit every once in a while?
Fuck no.
So what about you, Mark? When was the last time you were in a pit?
A long time. Man, well over 20 years. My days of doing that shit are long over.
I'm more of a hangout by the bar.
I'm gonna hang out at the soundboard guy.
So for the right thing, like I'll come out of retirement.
I came out of retirement for Psychroptic. They played a show in Dubai, and it was my first time seeing them, and there was enough adult juice in me.
There's that mule semen again.
We're going to be listening to Immortal Pain from Saudi Arabia. The song is called Corrupted Mind. Immediate thoughts and reactions. Let's start with Julian.
Musicianship is definitely there, but this is a song that for me was a good example of what was too long for me. That being said, definitely not a bad song, well written.
Funnily enough, I seem to just be on the opposite side of the fence with these structural comments. It was long. I mean, the second solo came around, it was like, it's the theme. It's got chorus energy. But the bass and drums had sick interplay. The guitars really led the groove, led the charge, had the gallopy thing. You know, it had nice fuck off energy.
I like the vibe, the old school vibe. It reminds me of bands I would listen to on the way to school. Your classic Venoms and early Metallica, that old school sound, which is a pretty bold move in this modern era. Even the production, had a lot of that going on. I'm just gonna beat a dead horse and say it was too long for me.
Generally, when you talk about production, can you intentionally make a song sound from a certain era? Is that a thing that you've wanted to do or you've heard people do?
I think it's totally possible. Absolutely. And we definitely did. We were chasing specific things, but not like we didn't want them exact, so to speak. It's like we picked our favorite elements of things that we wanted to borrow from, if you will, and kind of combine it all. So definitely like to borrow. And I think like now in modern age, like you can totally replicate just an era if you wanted to. I don't know if it's going to sound as great unless you don't have the right producer, but
this is Death Tribe, originally from Lebanon, moved to the Netherlands. Immediate thoughts and reactions. No time to waste there. Let's go with Mark right away.
I wasn't feeling that one so much. The vibe was a little off for me. It kind of sounded like two different genres competing with each other. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And in that instance, for me, it did not work.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? We spent a while before talking about songs that were like too long, but this is one that I actually wish was longer. It was cool. It hit with a lot of great energy, kept that energy up, so like almost too much, almost to its own detriment. It ended up feeling, as Mark said, kind of one-dimensional.
So I know the guy, and I know that he's a good writer. This didn't quite scratch my itch, in the sense, kind of the same thing that Mark said, that it just kind of felt like it went up to a level and then stayed there in the entire track, and that just kind of worked against itself.
Immortal Pain, move on to the next round. We also have a Middle Eastern metal playlist on Spotify, ! New Wave or New Wave of Middle Eastern Metal. Speaking of that, I stole from Mark.
When I was growing up, I listened to what was known as the new wave of British heavy metal. And I thought it was cool when I would buy some of those records. It actually was like branded on there. I saw that and I thought it would be cool when we were making our marketing samplers for Impossibility of Reason to do that as well. It was just a fun homage, honestly. Press ran with it. Then they're doing new wave of American heavy metal magazines and we're not even involved in it. So that's usually how it goes. Pioneers with slaughtered prospectors rule.
I didn't even know that. I knew the term from Lamb of God, and so I assumed that they were part of some work of coining it. So that's, kind of dick move from them to you. But it's awesome that you did it because it's a sick fucking term.
I love bringing that story up because I have completely taken that and added just the words Middle East in the middle of it. And whenever someone asks like what new wave British heavy metal, and that wasn't my influence. Like that was Mark's influence to make it American heavy metal. Mine was the American heavy metal to make it Middle Eastern heavy metal. Judges, you know the drill. All at the same time, as obnoxious as possible. Can you all say hit the outro?
Hit the outro.